If you're looking at buying an airplane, two names come up constantly, the Cessna 172 and the Van's RV12. You'll see them listed for prices that look surprisingly close, and most people assume that means they cost about the same amount of money to own. Well, they don't. What trips people up is that one of these airplanes is certified and the other is experimental, and that single difference quietly controls almost every cost you'll deal with after you buy it. Maintenance, inspections, pretty much everything. The problem is most pilots compare airplanes the way renters do. They look at what feels familiar and what the price tag says. And that's how people end up with an airplane that looks reasonable on paper, but gets very expensive to live with. So in this video, I want to walk you through what actually matters when you own one of these airplanes using real numbers and show you where the costs really come from. Because once you understand that part, the decision on which one is right for you gets a whole lot clearer. Once you get past the price tag, the real question is what a perfect personal airplane actually means. And for most people, it's not actually what they think. Owning an airplane is very, very different from renting an airplane. You're paying every year whether it flies or not. So things like insurance, storage, inspections, and maintenance, they're all going to show up and you're going to have to pay those bills no matter what. So look at how personal aircraft are actually used. Many privately owned airplanes fly just 30 to 100 hours a year, and most of those flights are solo or maybe a passenger, local, or probably a pretty short cross country. So in practice, 4 seats and max gross capability, well, that stuff is rarely used. So instead of asking which airplane is better, these are 4 ownership questions you can actually have to ask yourself to help you make a decision. Number 1, how often do you fly and how many people are usually with you? Number 2, do you care more about keeping yearly costs low or about having the easiest resale later on? Number 3, do you want control over maintenance decisions, or do you want to just hand everything over to a shop and really not have to think about it other than paying the bill? And number 4, how comfortable are you looking at build quality and paperwork when you're making the buy? Now, once you answer those, there isn't one best airplane. There's a best ownership model for your mission and how involved that you want to be. So let me know in the comments, what's the single most important factor that would make an airplane perfect for you? Because I'm going to use your answers to possibly inspire future deep dive videos. And that's why the Cessna 172 and the RV12 aren't really competing airplanes. They're two very different ways of owning. When you buy an airplane, you're not just buying a hunk of metal. You're buying into a maintenance and inspection rulebook that controls costs, downtime, and how much say you have for as long as you own it. Certified airplanes like a Cessna 172, they fall under FAA's Part 43. That means most maintenance and every yearly annual inspection has to be signed off by a licensed aircraft mechanic. And the annual inspection is typically done by a mechanic who has an inspection authorization, which is just an extra credential that allows them to approve and sign off on major inspections. So in practice, that means annual inspection labor alone is going to be somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000, and that's before anything is found that needs to be fixed. Downtime depends on shop schedule, not yours, and the fixed costs keep running while the airplane is down. Experimental light sport aircraft like the RV12, well, they play by a different set of rules. Owners can take a short FAA-approved course, which is usually about 2 days in length, and after that, they can perform and sign off the yearly condition inspection on their own airplane for as long as they own it. So that, of course, eliminates the recurring $1,500 to $3,000 a year need for the annual inspection labor costs, and plus the dependencies on an IA availability to remain airworthy. It also dramatically reduces downtime during peak maintenance seasons and shifts inspection control back to the owner. So neither is free, but only one lets you remove that recurring inspection labor from the ownership equation. Once you understand the rulebook, the RV12's ownership cost structure starts to separate the plane from certified airplanes pretty quickly. If you're looking for more details on, say, the big picture of making an airplane ownership financially possible, do check out my video, How to Actually Afford an Airplane Without Being Rich, and you can see that either by clicking a link in the description or you can see a picture of it right here. Now let's take a look at the numbers. A 172 burns 8 to 10 gallons per hour. At $6 a gallon, that's somewhere between $48 and $60 per hour in fuel. An RV12 with a Rotax burns 4 to 5.5 gallons per hour, so you're looking at somewhere between $24 and $33 per hour for fuel. At 50 hours a year, the 172 costs you about $2,400 to $3,000 in fuel. The RV12 is about $1,200 to $1,650. So that's a $1,200 to $1,500 difference every single year. Over 5 years, that's $6 to $7 grand in fuel savings alone. And remember, that's just the fuel. The savings only matters if your fixed costs aren't excessive. But for most owners flying just 50 to 100 hours a year, it absolutely adds up. In cruise, these airplanes are closer than you might expect. A 172 typically cruises around 110 knots, maybe up as much as 120, and RV12 is right in that same range. So on a 200-mile trip, the difference is maybe 5 or 10 minutes, so it really doesn't matter. In terms of feel, the 172 is stable and forgiving, and it's built to take abuse, which is why flight schools like it so much. The RV12 feels lighter and more responsive, which can be really great. However, if you are flying in turbulence, you are going to get a little bumpier ride. So the airplanes performs similarly, but costs half as much to feed on fuel. That efficiency advantage shows up again when you start thinking about upgrades. Avionics are another place where the rules matter. In a 172, equipment has to be certified, and installation usually requires an STC or field approval. A Garmin 650 install can easily run between 12 and 20 grand. In an RV12, non-certified equipment is allowed, and owners can often do the installation themselves with proper documentation. So that same upgrade might only be $8,000 to $11,000, which is a lot less. Inside the cabin, the 172 gives you rear seats and flexibility, whereas the RV12 gives you visibility, modern ergonomics, and simpler systems. So a lot of people assume experimentals can't fly IFR, and that's not necessarily true. It depends upon the operating limitations and how the airplane is equipped. Some RV12s are VFR only. Others, especially factory-built versions, can be IFR capable. In reality, most private pilots do fly VFR most of the time anyway. So if the RV12 looks good on paper, why do people still buy the 172? Certified ownership still has real advantages. Resale is definitely easier. Depreciation is more predictable, and the buyer pool is bigger. Build quality is very standardized, and the long-term behavior of the airframe is well understood. If you want to lease the plane back to a school, certified makes life easier. Experimentals are more restricted, though that is evolving with the new MOSAIC rules. The 172 also tolerates training abuse better, and for people who want certainty over control, it works. You pay the shop, you don't have to think about it, but for some people, that has a lot of value. If you fly with 4 people regularly, want partnerships, or want minimal hands-on involvement, the certified premium may make a lot of sense for you. You do get something for that premium. The question is whether you actually need it. MOSAIC is changing the landscape. The light sport definition is expanding. Weight limits are going away, speed limits are increasing, more aircraft are going to qualify. Sport pilots will be able to fly a much larger portion of the general aviation fleet. New endorsements will allow more capability. Limited commercial use will be allowed in some cases. This means that affordable personal aviation is moving towards lighter, more efficient, owner-controlled aircraft. The ownership advantages of the E-LSA now apply to a much wider range of capable aircraft. LSA becomes viable for far more missions, while certified costs remain unchanged. The experimental LSA ownership model is definitely expanding, making the case for aircraft like the RV12 even stronger for many private pilots. Now, before we get into my conclusion, I wanted to say one thing. If you are someone who is looking for an independent flight instructor to do your training with, you may or may not know that there is a Fly with Trent nationwide directory of independent flight instructors, and as someone seeking an instructor, it is completely free for you to use. Just go to flywithtrent.com/directory. Okay, with that said, let's get into the conclusion. For most private owners flying 30 to 100 hours a year, usually 1 or maybe 2 people, mostly VFR, The ownership model matters more than the badge on the tail. So let me show you what that actually looks like with real numbers as we walk through the years of ownership. Let's start with year one. You're going to save around $1,900 because you did your own condition inspection instead of paying a shop. You're going to save $1,200 to $1,500 on fuel because, well, you're burning half as much. Maybe you save another couple of $100 here and there on oil changes and small parts because you're not paying certified markups. So total savings on year one, somewhere between $3,500 and $4,000. Now let's look at year three. You're now at about $10,000 to $12,000 ahead cumulatively. The RV12 has cost you $10,000 to $12,000 less to operate than the 172 would have over the same period, and nothing's broken yet, so this is just normal operations. Now let's skip ahead to year five. Cumulative savings are now pushing $16,000 to $20,000, so that's some real money. If you finance the airplane, that might be close to what you paid in interest over those 5 years. So basically, you've essentially flown for free compared to certified ownership. Now let's zoom all the way out to, say, year 10. You're now at $32,000 to $40,000 in cumulative savings, just from inspection, labor, and fuel. That doesn't count avionics upgrades that you did yourself, or parts that you sourced at non-certified prices, or the fact that your airplane was never down for 3 to 6 months waiting on a shop. So if you look at the screen one more time, you're going to see the full breakdown. Lower fixed costs, more owner control, less downtime, better fuel efficiency, modern avionics, all at experimental pricing. For most people flying the kind of missions that we've been talking about, 30 to 100 hours a year, 1 or 2 people, mostly VFR, the RV12 is a very, very strong contender for your investment dollar. So what did you think? If you have questions, I would love it if you would leave those down in the comments because I do read and reply to all of them. If you enjoyed this video and think other people should see it, please go ahead and smash the like button. And finally, if you're not yet a subscriber of the channel, please do become a subscriber by just going ahead and clicking that button right now. It helps the channel immensely. So why do I always ask about this? Well, here's the reason why. I would love nothing more than to attract corporate sponsors to the channel so I can get some money from them to put in the pot so I can create aviation training scholarships for people that are in the Fly with Trent community. And the number of subscribers on the channel is the #1 vanity metric that they all look at when they decide where they want to advertise. So having every single last subscriber is super duper important. And finally, if you haven't yet visited flywithtrent.com, I strongly encourage that you do because there's a ton of free resources there for you. My name's Trent. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye-bye.